The story of Ogedengbe, the fearless Yoruba warrior. It is said that when Ogedengbe died, the skies roared with thunder 3 times, as if the heavens mourned the passing of a great warrior. His name Ogedengbe Agbogungboro, meaning Ogedengbe the warrior, still echoes across Ijesha land. His life and battles were so extraordinary that his story has become a legend that continues to inspire. Ogedengbe was born in Atorin, a small village near Ilesha in present-day Osun State, Nigeria. His parents, Pa Apason Forejiwa and Madam Falukbo, could never have imagined how significant their son's life would be. Even before his birth, the Ifa oracle predicted that the child would grow up to save Ijesha land. This prophecy gave his family hope and pride. He was named Saraibi at birth, but his extraordinary strength and courage as a child earned him the nickname Ogedengbe, which translates to the one who floors others. From an early age, Ogedengbe showed signs of greatness. He was fearless and always stood out among his peers. In wrestling matches, no one could defeat him. His strength and determination made him a natural leader. Growing up in Atorin, Ogedengbe worked hard and learned the ways of the land. He became a skilled farmer and hunter, but his heart longed for something greater. He had a deep love for his people and wanted to protect them from harm. This desire to serve and defend his community would shape the rest of his life. By the 19th century, Yoruba land was in turmoil. The fall of the Olo Empire had left the region fragmented, with various kingdoms fighting for dominance. Among these rising powers was the city of Ibadan, which sought to rule over all of Yoruba land. This quest for domination led to frequent wars, and smaller communities like Ijesha land were often caught in the crossfire. As Ogedengbe grew older, he became a key figure in Ijesha's resistance against Ibadan's oppression. His strength, courage, and charisma made him a natural leader. But his journey to becoming a warrior was not without hardship. During one of the early battles against the Ibadan forces, Ogedengbe was captured and taken to Ibadan. There his captors gave him tribal marks on his face, a permanent reminder of his humiliation. They later released him, but the experience only fueled his determination. Ogedengbe returned to his people stronger and wiser. He began to gather a group of loyal fighters and trained them to defend their land. His leadership and strategic mind quickly earned him respect. When he joined the Ibadan army for a time, he rose through the ranks, gaining valuable experience that he would later use to fight against them. The most defining chapter of Ogedengbe's life was the Kiriji War, a conflict that lasted 16 years. This war began in 1877 and was one of the most significant in Yoruba history. It was sparked by Ibadan's attempt to dominate other Yoruba kingdoms. The Ijesha people, tired of Ibadan's oppression, formed an alliance known as the Ekiti Parapbo. They chose Ogedengbe to lead their army. The Kiriji War was unlike any other. It was a war of endurance, fought over vast territories and involving multiple Yoruba kingdoms. The Ijesha forces under Ogedengbe's command fought fearlessly to protect their independence. They used guerrilla tactics and fortified their positions, making it difficult for the Ibadan forces to advance. Ogedengbe's leadership was marked by courage and cunning. He was not only a warrior but also a strategist who understood the importance of alliances. He reached out to other Yoruba communities, including the Ife and Ilorin kingdoms, to join the fight against Ibadan. These alliances threatened the Ekiti Parapbo forces and turned the tide of the war. One of the most remarkable stories from this period was how Ogedengbe survived an attack that should have killed him. During a fierce battle, he was reportedly beheaded, but to the astonishment of his enemies, his headless body picked up the severed head, reattached it, and continued fighting. Whether this story is true or a legend, it terrified his enemies and made him seem invisible. Beyond the battlefield, Ogedengbe's influence extended beyond Yoruba land. His campaigns took him to Ekiti, Akoko, and even as far as the Benin Kingdom. The Oba of Benin, fearing Ogedengbe's power, sent gifts of aids, slaves, and treasures to appease him. This act of diplomacy showed the extent of Ogedengbe's reputation as a formidable leader. However, Ogedengbe's actions were not without controversy. Like many leaders of his time, he participated in the slave trade, capturing and selling prisoners of war. This aspect of his legacy complicates the admiration he receives, as it reflects the harsh realities of the era. Despite the brutality of war, Ogedengbe also sought to build connections through marriage. He had over 99 wives, many of whom were given to him by rulers seeking to form alliances. These marriages strengthened political ties and helped maintain peace in certain regions. The Kiriju War finally came to an end in 1886, thanks to British intervention. A peace treaty was signed, and the fighting ceased. Ogedengbe returned to Ilesha as a hero. The people welcomed him with open arms and honored him with the title Obanla of Ijesha land, meaning the mighty one. This title made him second only to the king of Ilesha. After the war, Ogedengbe focused on rebuilding his community. He established a palace in Ilesha, shaped like the letter O to symbolize his name. Though he was offered the throne of Ilesha, he declined, choosing instead to serve as a kingmaker. His influence remained strong, and no major decision was made without consulting him. On July 29, 1910, Ogedengbe passed away. The people of Ijesha land believed the thunder that shook the skies that day was a sign of his greatness. He was buried in his palace, and his descendants continue to honor his legacy. To this day, his statue stands at the entrance of Ilesha, a permanent reminder of his contributions to Yoruba history. Ogedengbe's life was a mix of heroism and complexity. He was a warrior, a leader, and a symbol of resistance against oppression. His name is synonymous with strength and courage, and his story continues to inspire generations. As the people of Ijesha say, the day Ogedengbe died, God shot a gun throughout Nigeria. Ogedengbe Agbogungboro, the warrior who defied the odds, will never be forgotten.